Hello, wonderful people. Welcome to the new Woman Stand in Your Power series. I changed the name of my channel, right? But then to include men, and I named the channel Stand in Your Power. But within that channel, I'm creating a series called Woman Stand in Your Power. And today, I want to say a very big welcome to you for being here. Thank you, each and every one of you for being here. I appreciate you. So, how have you been? Welcome back to Woman Stand in Your Power. I am Femi, and today we are tackling something that might feel uncomfortable, but it's absolutely essential for every woman watching. I don't care where you're watching from. We need to establish boundaries that actually hold. So this is more of an educational series that I believe would help somebody. Okay? How have you been? First off, I want to ask you, have you ever found yourself saying yes when you desperately wanted to say no? Or smiling politely through, you know, though there's something that makes your skin crawl. You are smiling politely through a behavior that makes your skin, you are smiling, but you are angry on the inside. Or you are at work and you are taking yet another task when you know that you are already overwhelmed. If you are nodding along with me, this video is for you. Today we are breaking down why being nice might be the very thing that is holding you back from living your most authentic, powerful life. And we are going to be talking about how you can change that, how you can stop being nice. Okay? So, yeah, stop being nice. Be clear and begin to set boundaries that actually hold. There's one trap that a lot of women and girls, young ladies fall into. Now let's start with this real talk. You see, as women, we fall into the trap of the nice girl. As women, we've been controlled from childhood to be the peacemakers, to be the people pleasers, to be the one who makes sure everyone else is comfortable, right? We have been conditioned to do all of those things at our own expense. If you are with me, let me know in the comment section. They say be nice. They told us to be nice. Don't make waves. Think of other people first. And while consideration for other people is actually and certainly valuable, this conditioning has created generations and generations and generations of women who, number one, they fear being labeled difficult. They fear being called bossy for expressing their basic needs. Or they fear being called feminists, right? Another one is that, it has created a generation of women who feel crushing guilt when they are prioritizing themselves. We've created a women who avoid conflict at all costs, even when it means betraying themselves. We've created a group of women who feel responsible for other people's emotions and reactions. Does that sound familiar to you? Does it? I thought so. But here's what we need to understand. There's profound difference between being kind and being nice. Kindness comes from a place of strength. Kindness, I repeat, comes from a place of strength. There's a profound difference between being kind and being nice. I repeat, kindness comes from a place of strength. It comes from a place of authenticity. Nice often comes from a place of fear. The fear of rejection, the fear of conflict, the fear of not being enough. Okay? But then there is a cost of being too nice. And we need to look at the cost benefit. Now, before we talk about how to set boundaries, let's get crystal clear on why this matters so much. This thing being too nice it's not just annoying, it's actively harmful to your well-being. I repeat, it is very harmful to your well-being. Some women could say, I was worried about disappointing everybody that I ended up in the hospital with exhaustion. My question to you is, who sent you? Another one will be like, oh, I realized I was so resentful towards my husband, towards my partner, because I kept saying yes when I meant no. The truth is, the world won't end because you said no. Another woman would say, I lost myself. I literally didn't know what I wanted anymore because I was so focused on what everyone else needed from me. See, the truth is you cannot, I repeat, you cannot pour from an empty cup. When we consistently prioritize being perceived as nice over honoring our truth, we pay a very steep price. You will become exhausted. You become emotionally exhausted. You begin to experience resentments that will poison all of your relationships. You begin to lose your identity. You don't know who you are anymore, and that happens with a lot of women. As that continues to happen, you begin to experience diminished respect from other people. You begin to experience increased anxiety and stress. Now, the most painful irony is that being nice doesn't even get you what you think it will get you. Okay? Because you bend over backwards, hoping for appreciation. You are hoping for love, but you are constantly accommodating others. And because you do that, because you are constantly accommodating other people, it results in the exact opposite of what it's supposed to achieve. People will take you for granted, and boundaries will get increasingly violated. Okay? So, what am I saying in essence? It doesn't pay you to be overly nice to everybody. You don't have to be nice to everybody, because you will experience not only exhaustion, but people will lose respect. People will lose respect for you. People will begin to take you for granted, and you will have no boundaries. Okay? So we need to look at all of those very, very clearly. Okay? What was I talking about? I lost my, okay. So why is it that even when you try to set boundaries, they don't stick? Why is it that when you even try to set boundaries, they don't stick? They often don't stick. I'll tell you what is missing and why they don't stick. Many of us attempt to set boundaries, right? But we do it in ways that practically invite them to be ignored. We hint instead of state. We apologize excessively for having needs. We then go ahead and leave room for negotiation where there shouldn't be any negotiation whatsoever. Okay? So I'm going to be sharing with us some effective versus ineffective boundary examples. Okay, just hang in there, stay with me. For example, an ineffective example of boundary setting is saying, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I kind of feel like maybe I need some space sometimes, if that's okay. What you are doing there is you are asking permission. And you shouldn't be asking permission. You are saying you kind of feel. You are not being assertive. You are being passive in this situation. The effective way is for you to say, I need one evening to myself each week. I will be available on Thursdays. Simple, clear, straight to the point. No negotiations. You see the difference? The second statement does not give any form of apologizing. You are not apologizing for having needs. You are using definitive language. You are providing specific information on what you desire, and you are not asking for any form of permission whatsoever. So, therefore, you need to understand that effective boundaries aren't just about what you say, they are about how you say them, your tone, your body language, your consistency. Everything matters just as much as the words that you choose. Okay? Now, we will move on. I will share with you some boundary blueprints. We have to now get practical. I'm going to give you 5 steps. I'm going to give you a 5-step blueprint for creating boundaries that would actually hold. And I'm going to be giving you real examples that you can adapt to your own life. Okay? Number 1 is identify your negotiables. What are your deal breakers? What are those things that you can negotiate and what are those things that you cannot negotiate? And before you communicate your boundaries, you need clarity about what matters to you. Ask yourself, what situations constantly leave me feeling drained? In what way do I always feel drained, leaving me feeling resentful? Where do I feel my values are being compromised? What do I need to feel safe? What do I need to feel respected? And what do I need to feel honored? Now, I recommend starting with just 3 to 5 areas where boundaries feel most urgent in your life right now. For example, maybe you need boundaries around your time, around your physical space, around how people speak to you, or around your financial decisions. So you need to be clear on what you need, right? And then use clear, direct language. That is step number 2. Use clear, direct language. I repeat that because that's where many of us trip up. We soften our language to make it more palatable. But in doing so, we undermine our own boundaries. Yes. We want to make it palatable because you're still trying to be nice. So one example, instead of I might not be able to help with that project because I am kind of busy. Why don't you try this? I don't have capacity to take on more project. I can recommend someone who might. Instead of you saying, I'd prefer if you didn't comment on my body, if that's okay, you say things like, I don't discuss my body or weight. Please don't comment on it again. Straight to the point. Let them know where you stand. Notice how this second option does not include unnecessary justification. That's very intentional. You don't need to defend your boundaries in whatever ways. Okay? You do not need to defend your boundaries at all. Now, step number 3, you need to prepare for pushback. You need to prepare for people say, people saying, who does she feel like? What does she think? When you change patterns in a relationship, expect resistance. People will resist you because people resist change. People who benefit from your boundarylessness behavior won't immediately celebrate your newly found clarity. They won't understand you. Okay? But let me play this scenario in your head. Let me play this scenario. You have changed. This is somebody saying to you, you have changed. You used to be so helpful. That's what they will tell you when they are trying to push back. Then you need to tell them, yes, I am changing how I manage my time, how I manage my energy, because this is important for my well-being. Someone can say, I guess I will just have to do it myself then. You go ahead and tell them, oh, I understand your disappointment. I'm happy to help with X, but Y is not something I can take on. Simple and clear, and move. Keep it moving. Now, step number 4, you need to follow through consistently. Boundaries are only as strong as your willingness to enforce them. When you make exception just this once, you teach other people that your boundaries are negotiable. And your boundaries shouldn't be negotiable. So be consistent about it. Actions speak louder than your words. Remember, if you say your time is valuable, but then consistently allow interruptions, your boundaries won't be taken seriously. I repeat, if you say your time is valuable, but then you continue to allow interruptions, then your boundaries would not be taken seriously. And now, step number 5, start small and build. Setting boundaries is a muscle. Is a muscle that you have to strengthen with use. Begin with lower stake situations. Okay? Begin with smaller, situations before tackling your most challenging relationships. So the more you build that muscle, the more you strengthen it. Each success will build your confidence for your next boundary that you're about to set. Okay? So those are the 5 steps that I'm sharing right now. Okay? Now, I want to give you some boundary scripts, some real life boundary scripts that we need to use. So we need to now get super practical with scripts, things that you can adapt for common scenarios where boundaries are very, very, very essential. Okay. Let's look at some, like at work. Okay. You can try things like, I am not available outside of work hours, except for genuine emergencies. I check my emails between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. These are scripts that you can use. If somebody is violating your time boundaries, or there's another one, I have noticed our meetings often run over time. I will need to leave at 3 p.m. as scheduled to meet my other commitments. You see that? Another one you can use at work is, I'm at capacity with my current projects. Taking this on would affect the quality of my work. Which of my current priorities would you like for me to set aside for this? Very clear and simple. Now, those are for work scenarios. Now, in relationships, in your personal relationships, there are some that are helpful that I can show you. When you raise your voice, I find it difficult to continue the conversation productively. I need us to speak calmly, or I will need to continue this discussion later. You see that? Straight to the point. No wahala. Someone is raising their voice at you in your personal relationship. I repeat, you can say these things. When you raise your voice, I find it difficult to continue the conversation productively. I need us to speak calmly, or I will need to continue this conversation another time. Another thing you can say is, I value our friendship, but I don't feel comfortable discussing my finances. Let's talk about something else. Or, I love spending time with you, and I also need time alone to recharge. I am going to take Saturday for myself. No apologies. You've stated your needs. You have stated what you love to do. And you are saying, this is now what I need to do and I must do without your permission. Now, your relationship with family can be very tricky. Now we're going to the family section, because family can, some families, it's in a lot of families, let me put it like that, boundaries can be especially challenging. So you can say things like, I understand you are concerned, but I have made my decisions about this. It's not up for debate. Full stop. Or you can say something like, I won't be attending family gatherings where some kind of behaviors occur. I'd be happy to meet you one-on-one. Instead, you are setting boundaries, okay? Or you can say, I know you mean well with your advice about my children, but we've decided to handle this differently in our household. This is for people that maybe some members of their family are teaching them how to handle their children. No boundaries, all right? So you understand what we are talking about. How to stop being nice and how to set those boundaries for real, boundaries that hold. I'm just showing you today practical steps on how to do that. Okay? So, I want to be honest with you. When you first begin setting clear boundaries, you will likely experience some form of discomfort. There might be some awkward conversations. Some people might really push back hard. You might feel guilty, or you might even question yourself. It is very normal. All of these are normal. But what might surprise you are the incredible gifts that would come as you persist. There will be a lot of incredible gifts that will come to you as you are consistent with your boundaries. Number one, you will develop deeper, more authentic relationships that are built on mutual respect rather than people pleasing. Okay? You will experience increased energy as you stop draining yourself through overcommitment. Yes. I mean, no form of energy draining. You would also develop a greater level of self-trust that comes from honoring your needs. At the same time, you will find an improved ability to be present without the background noise of any form of resentment. Oh, I'm doing all this for you. Da, 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 da. No. You won't be resentful because you have already set your boundaries clear. You will develop a stronger sense of identity that is separate from other people's expectations. And perhaps most importantly, you will model healthy behavior for other women, young ladies, and girls in your life. Okay? So I'm going to conclude by leaving us with a few things. I need you to remember that setting boundaries, give me one moment, please. I need you guys to remember that setting boundaries is not selfish. Let's come closer on this one. Let me bring myself closer to you. Let me bring myself closer to you. Setting boundaries is not what? It's not selfish. It is not selfish at all. Setting boundaries is not selfish. It is necessary for sustained relationships and for your own well-being when you clearly communicate your limits. When you do that, you create the space to show up fully. You create the space to show up authentically in all areas of your life. So don't feel selfish that you're setting boundaries. Don't feel selfish that you're making space for yourself. Your journey from nice to powerful won't begin overnight. There will be uncomfortable moments. There will be doubts. There will be occasional backslide. That's all part of the process. What matters is your commitment to honoring yourself consistently, even when it is difficult. So as you stand in your power, sis, and as you articulate your boundaries, you don't just transform your own life, you give other women permission to do the same. Your clarity becomes a beacon for others still finding their own voice. I believe in you. I see your strength. Even when setting boundaries feels scary, I see your strength. Remember, you do not have to be perfect at this. You just need to begin. All you need to do is start and continue to build the muscle, and you will look back one day and see how far you have come. So therefore now, I challenge you to choose one boundary you will clarify this week. Start small if you need to, but commit to being clear, commit to being consistent with at least one boundary in your life. Share your boundary commitments in the comments below, and let's support one another on this journey from people pleasing to power, to you standing in your power. Thank you for watching, and until next time, please stand tall, speak clearly, reclaim your power, love and love everyone authentically. My name is Femi, and I will see you in the next one. Welcome once again to the Woman Stand in Your Power series. Bye.